Hello, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my 2026 plan for growing my small art business. I have 7 things that I'm going to try to do differently this year to hopefully grow my business. If you're new here, my name is Becky. I'm an artist and I just recently started selling my art and trying to get my small business off the ground. I know people will say that if you just keep showing up and you don't give up, if you are consistent, then eventually you will make it. And while I believe there's some truth to that, I also think that there comes a point where you need to step back, reevaluate, and be honest and say, if this is not working, then that means that something needs to change. To keep doing the same thing over and over that you've been doing that hasn't been working is not a good plan. So let's just jump straight into it. Number 1 is reevaluate pricing. When you're first starting out, pricing your work is so hard. I took months trying to decide what prices to put on my artwork because you don't want to price your stuff too high. If you start out with like outrageous prices, you won't sell anything. You also don't want to price so low that it appears that you don't value your time or your work and people think that it's no good and just cheap. So you have to find that middle ground of what is a good price where my work looks valuable but is not so overpriced for the level that you are at, because ultimately the goal is to sell your work, right? You might want $500 for the painting that you just created and you've only been painting for a year and a half or 2 years, and you might feel like that's what I would like to get from this painting. But if there's nobody out there willing to pay that amount for your work, then it's just going to sit on a shelf. So if it just sits in your house and you can't sell it, then you might as well accept a lower price for it, right? So I've heard plenty of people say that you don't want to start out way too high and have to lower your prices because it'll look bad on your company. But the reality is, when you are a beginner and you're brand new and you don't really know how to price your art, you might get it wrong the first time. And I think that it's okay to adjust the pricing a little bit, especially when you're first starting out and you don't have a huge following anyway. So this is the one thing on my list that I have already done this year. I went through and I lowered the price on every single product on my website. But right now, I just want to get my business off the ground. I just want to start selling consistently. And so I priced all my 8x10s at $50, even if just about every website that I have looked at, 8x10s are priced higher than that. But I'm going to start at $50. And if that's too low, once they're flying off the shelf at $50, then that's the time to raise it. Then I can raise them back to 75 and eventually 100. And we'll see where it goes from there. And hey, if a year from now my paintings, my 8x10s are selling for 100, then those people that got them for 50 will be super happy, right? That their painting went up in value and that they got it for so cheap. So I don't feel bad about pricing my stuff cheap right now. So on to number 2. Number 2 is one that many of you starting out your small business are probably ahead of me already, but I do not have business cards. And so number 2 is to create business cards. I was thinking about this, and if you're out in public and someone asks you what you do, that is the perfect opportunity to advertise, right, for your business. And if you don't have anything to physically give them, yeah, you can tell them, I'm an artist, I have a website, I sell paintings. And more than likely, they are not going to go home and check out your website. They're probably not even going to remember the name of the business. So just to have that business card and keep them in your wallet, in your purse, to have them with you all the time, to be able to hand it to people and say, here, I'm an artist. This is what I do. Go check out my website. You can check out my store. And that is one business tactic that where I have failed. I've had a business now for like 5 months, no advertising, no business cards, and that's probably the number one reason why my business has not taken off, which leads me into number 3. Number 3 thing I'm going to do in 2026 is to stop hiding. I don't know how many of you other small art business owners have this same problem, but for me, most of my family, besides my immediate family, my children, my husband, and then my mother and sister, outside of that, none of my extended family know that I have started an art business. I go to a fairly large church, about 2,000 people, and out of those 2,000 people, I think 3 know that I started an art business. Why? Because, like, again, I said I'm not advertising it. Um, I got some advice early on that you should not tell people that you have a YouTube channel. You should not tell people about your small art business. I've watched several YouTube videos about this where this is the advice that people gave, that you should be focusing on your target audience. And if your family and your friends are not your customers, then you shouldn't be advertising your business to them. But, I think that was bad advice. So, on top of all of those reasons, I also am just insecure. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that. I'm a very quiet, shy, and introverted person. I don't go around like advertising my life and everything I'm doing. I don't talk a lot. I don't socialize a lot. And so for me, yes, it's kind of embarrassing for people who have known me for years and don't even know that I do art, to be like, hey, guess what? I'm an artist. Um, or to show my art to people that I know, because you never know how they're going to respond. And I am fully aware that everyone in my life that I know may not like my art. It might just not be their thing. For the most part, I feel like I have been hiding my art business. Part of that, I think, is pride. Um, I want to be successful before I announce that I have a business, because there's always that part of you that is saying, what if I fail? What if this doesn't go anywhere and I end up looking stupid? What if I tried and I don't make it and everybody knew about it? I've said again and again on this channel that I'm not going to fail, and I believe I'm not going to fail. So why am I hiding? Why am I hiding my art business? You can't hide something if you want it to grow. And so for 2026, I'm going to stop hiding. I am going to start advertising my business to friends, to family. Those people are probably the people most likely to want to support you in the beginning when you're first starting out. Somebody who knows you and trusts you and loves you, they're going to want to encourage you more than somebody out there who's just a stranger who has no clue who you are and who is trying to decide whether they want to buy your artwork or not. You have a much better chance of getting your business started if you share it with people who already know you. So, number 4 is getting outside of my four walls. So, getting out there. By getting out there, what I mean is getting out into the public, getting involved in the art community, reaching out to stores, businesses, cafes, places where I could possibly put my artwork and advertise my artwork. So far, I have just been painting and making art here in my tiny basement little studio space and posting stuff on my website and not really doing much marketing or promoting. And so, how can I expect for that to grow if I'm not getting out there? I am going to try to do some art markets this year. I've never done an art market before. I know that they can be costly to start up, but I think if you choose the right ones, then you can make a profit. And so I'm not looking at the large art fairs. Right off the bat, when you're first getting started, try to find cheaper smaller markets where you can just get some experience and try to begin selling your work. All right, number 5 is new products. So far, I have only listed original artwork and some art prints on my website. Those are my only products, and I only offer 11 by 14 and 8 by 10 prints. I was thinking it through, and I don't really have any small products for sale. And I think when you're getting started, that you're way more likely to sell cheaper, smaller products than to sell like a great big painting like this. At markets, it's better if you have a larger variety of products to choose from and some cheaper products and not just selling original artwork. And so I think that I would really love to sell smaller prints like 5x7s. I know a lot of people at markets buy smaller artwork. Also, greeting cards. I would love to turn some of my paintings into cards. And you guys might know that I just finished this collection of bird paintings. I have 6 of those now. And I thought, how cute would that be if I had like a packet of cards, a 6-pack of cards with one of each of my bird paintings on the front. And I have a couple of other ideas for greeting cards too that I think would be really cute. And so that is a product that I plan on trying to make at some point this year before I go to market. And I don't know, I've just been brainstorming like different things that I could do. Also, with my birds, I was thinking, how cool would it be to make a calendar? And I know that this year has already started, but I have 6 so far. If I make 6 more, then I would have enough to do a bird calendar. And so I think that I might make it a goal to complete that in 2026 so that by the end of this year, I will have a 2027 calendar available. But yeah, I've just been brainstorming new ideas, new products that I can add to my inventory. So, number 6, and this kind of goes along with the new products in number 5, but number 6 is taking commissions. I said in the beginning when I first started this business that I would not take commissions. I did not want that to be part of my business. And the reason that I decided on that is not because I didn't want to do commissions, it's because I'm scared to do commissions. And it's a lot more intimidating when you have a client and you're trying to make them happy and who potentially may be unhappy with what you create. That is very intimidating. I'm gaining more confidence and I've just said to myself, I can do this. So at first I thought, is this going to look like I am completely changing who I am as an artist and a business? Because if you followed me for any amount of time, you know that I paint animals and floral artwork that is inspired by my faith and mostly by God's creation. And that is how I advertise my business, is that I paint God's creation, and that's what inspires me. And I thought, I'm not a pet portrait artist, but why not? God created dogs, God created cats and rabbits and guinea pigs, and I already paint birds, so why couldn't I paint somebody's pet bird? By becoming a pet portrait artist in addition to my wildlife animal art, I think that it works. I think that it would be okay. And my first one right here, I did this week. This is my sister's dog, and she was my trial run, and this is how she turned out, and I think that it looks pretty good. So I'm actually super excited about this. At first I was like, I don't know, and once I painted her, it was so much fun. I'm like, I really enjoyed doing this, and I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun painting pets. Okay, the final and last thing, number 7, is I'm going to be more intentional with growing my social media. So when I started out a little over a year ago, I was so excited to have my own website. It was so much fun creating it and listing all my products. Like, I really enjoyed that part of it. Um, I was really super excited at the thought of painting and doing the actual artwork and making more and more and more art and making time for that. The part that I was not super thrilled about is this part right here, sitting in front of a camera filming myself, because like I said a little bit ago, I am super introverted and shy and not very social in real life. So the thought of getting on a video camera and just talking to you guys is kind of intimidating. But for 2026, I decided that I really need to focus on growing my social media. First day that I started my business, first thing I did was start an Instagram, and so far that has not done very well. I think I only have 40 followers on Instagram. I really don't get many likes. I've even considered just stopping and getting rid of Instagram altogether because I feel like it's just not working for me. But that's probably because I haven't put too much effort into it. Same here on YouTube. Growing this channel has been very difficult. I got some advice from an artist a couple weeks ago, and that was to share with you guys things that will benefit you and that will help you. And so that was the advice I got, and I'm going to take that advice. And for this year, I'm going to try to change the way that I do YouTube and Instagram and being intentional about posting on them. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the 7 things that I'm going to do differently this year. I hope that at least one or some of these 7 things have helped you if you are starting out a small business, that maybe it's giving you something to think about or some new things, new ideas that you can implement into your business plan that will help you to be successful. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.